Hello and welcome back to the class. In this particular session, session number 3, we are going to actually have a look at how to create this particular component called block. Now, already we have completed the session on how to create this particular component called benchwise in the previous session of the same class. Now, in this session of this particular class, we are going to understand how to create a block inside NX itself. Now, if you remember, we have to remember the previous settings, what we have done. So here we have to click on new, and then we have to click on the browse location folder. So we need to locate the folder where exactly we are going to save our designs. Now here I'm going to click on the browse button, and then I'm going to define the location where exactly I'm going to save one. So I have created a benchwise assembly folder in my D drive in the previous session itself. So here I'm selecting D drive and selecting the benchwise assembly folder for the location of the component. Now here I'm going to click OK, and here I'm going to give a name of that particular component which I'm creating as block. So here I'm going to name it as block. Now here you will understand some advanced way of modeling things inside NX. So please follow along so that you can have a proper idea. Now if you want, you can even attempt to make this particular design by yourself if you so wish to, if you have some experience from the previous one. Now before we continue creating the design, we will have a brief look at how exactly this design need to be made. Now we can clearly understand it's a 32 by 32 rectangle. Okay, so it's a 32 by 88, the height is 32. So that is the size of this particular block. Okay, so 38 is the width, 88 is the length, and 32 is the height. And we can clearly see there are two holes of diameter 8 with a countersink diameter of 14 into 90. And also we have a circle over here, a hole over here of diameter 14, and that is a through hole. All the holes over here are through holes. Okay, so let us try to make that particular component. Now I'll click on sketch, then I'll select the top plane and click OK. Now here I'm going to create a center rectangle from the origin. Likewise, now if your rectangle is slanted like the way I have created by mistakenly, you can select the line of any one side of the rectangle, either make it horizontal or make it vertical in order to properly align it. Next thing is I'm going to define the length to my rectangle as 88, and then I'm going to define the width to my rectangle as 32, both are which given in the diagram. Now height is something which is not given in the diagram, but I have seen the other component of the assembly, and if you look at other components, the height is also going to be 32. Now here I'm going to click on extrude, and here I'll give the height of 32. And in boolean, and as I've told you in the previous session, we have to make sure about 4 things inside extrude: the curve, the direction, the limits, and the boolean. This 4 things we have to take a proper care of whenever we create anything inside extrude itself. Now once we have decided how exactly we are going to do it, so height is 32, and then I can click OK. Now once I'm done with this, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a sketch on the front plane or on the front face itself. Now here in this particular sketch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a circle. I'm going to place my circle at 44 over here. You can see the distance, it is 44 and 16. So I assume the hole is exactly in the center. And to do so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the center of the hole or the center of the circle, and the midpoint of the top side I'm going to make it vertically aligned. Again, I'm going to select the center point of this particular circle and the midpoint of this particular line, and I'm going to make it horizontally aligned. Then I'm going to define the diameter of this hole. So let us see, the diameter is going to be 14. So here I'm going to define the diameter of the hole as 14. I'll click on finish. Now I'll click on extrude. That will help me to create the hole. Then I'll flip the direction in which the hole is going to get created. Now in place of value, I'm going to select until extended or until next, and here I'm going to click OK. So this is how exactly I can make my hole. Now once my hole is ready, then I'm ready to create another parts. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a different approach in designing this particular hole. Either I can use a hole command to make this hole, but I want to take a different approach so that I can show you some advanced way of modeling things inside NX. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create only one hole. I know, although I can create 2 holes at once, but this will act as a feature for me which I can later on use in any of my future designs. Now what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to create a point on the top plane. So here on the top face, I'm going to add a point somewhere over here. Okay, so the point will be located at anywhere on this particular face, and then I'm going to define the location of that point. Now as we can see, there are 2 holes. We don't know the center to center distance of the hole. So what we are going to do is we are going to look at this diagram which was previously created. We know the block is going to fit here, and the center to center distance is 50, and the distance from here is 16. So that is what we are going to define. So what we are going to do next is I'm going to make my point and this particular point aligned in the mid, and then I'm going to give one dimension over here, that is from here to here. The distance is going to be 25, that is 50 half. Now here I'm going to click on finish, and this is how I have already placed my point. Now once the point is placed, then I can click on sketch. I can select the plane which is in the middle, okay, the XZ plane in this case. Then I can click OK to create my sketch. Now what I'm going to do is, while creating a sketch, I don't want to refer to anything. I just want to refer to my point. So what I'm going to do to refer to only to my point is, I'm going to hide all the other geometries, and this time I'm only referring to my point. Here I'm going to create a vertical line, a horizontal line, a vertical line, an angular line, and a horizontal line. So technically what I have created here is exactly half of this profile. Now I'm going to give respective dimension to this profile. Like for example, here the countersink diameter is of, the whole diameter is of 8. So here I'm going to define this value as 4. Okay, and the upper countersink diameter is going to be 14. So I'm going to define this particular value as 7. Now the angle of the countersink is going to be 90. So I'm going to define this particular angle as 45. Okay, and the overall depth of this particular countersink hole is going to be same as the depth of that particular part. So this is going to be, suppose, of the depth 32. So I'm going to define the depth of 32. Now along with that, because this is a hole, so what I also want to do here is, I don't want to keep the bottom line horizontal. Okay, so I'll delete the horizontal constraint so that I can increase the length of this line, the line which is on the left side. So here or otherwise I'll delete this dimension on the right, and here what I'm going to do is, I'm going to define this dimension as 3mm, so it will be always 3mm longer. Okay, and then what I want over here is not this align dimension as 4. I'll create a distance dimension as 4 like this. Okay, and then a total distance till here as 32. So this is what you need to create a sketch of. Okay, so as you can see here clearly, this is what I have created using the sketch tool or the sketch feature itself. Now I'm going to click on finish. Okay, you might tell like this is not a correct way of doing it, but yes, just wait for a minute. I can select the sketch now. I can now click on revolve. Then I can select the axis as this line, the line of the revolve itself, and now I can choose subtract, and I can click OK. Now what I'll do is, I'll right click on revolve and make my sketch internal to the revolve. So I can just simply right click and choose this particular option called make sketch internal. Now if I want to have a similar hole on the other side, as of now I can use mirror tool or the mirror command itself to mirror the hole on the other side, or else what I can do is, I can make a sketch here, and here I can technically have one more point. So let's say I'm going to create a point here. This time I'm going to make this particular point and the top midpoint vertically aligned, and then I'm also going to make this center point and this point 50 mm apart from each other, so that the hole properly sits in the location. Now I'll click on finish. Now let's say I want to have the same geometry on the other side. So I'm going to select the previous revolve command. I'm going to press Ctrl C on the keyboard. Ctrl C is actually for copy. Okay, so I'll just type it down. So Ctrl plus C, that is what I'm going to type, and then I'm going to type Ctrl plus V, that is to paste. Okay, so let us try that. So I'm going to select the revolve feature, then I'm going to select Ctrl C, that is for copy, then I'm going to type Ctrl V, that is for paste, and now it will ask me 3 things. Okay, so the target body, the sketch external reference, and the coordinate system. I want to keep everything same. Okay, I just need to change the sketch external reference. That was in the previous one was the point. So here I'm going to select this point as a sketch external reference, and everything else is the same. I'll just click OK, and the hole is recreated over there. So this is a benefit what I'm getting, okay, whenever I create something like this. Okay, so I hope you understood how exactly I can make different parts over here inside NX. Now once I'm done with this, I'll simply give it a color. So for giving a color, I'll press Ctrl J. I'll select this, I'll click OK. I'll click on the color tab. Last time I have defined the color called pale stone. This time I'm going to define the color called pale indigo. So once I define the color, I'll click OK. Okay, I'll save the file, okay, with the proper name. If you don't want to see the points here, I can just simply hide it, hide the sketches, and save the file again. So this is how you can create the block part. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.